Okay, we're recording. My name is John Bowman, retired Gwinnett County Sheriff's Department, working at this time with Millennium Security at Reinhardt College. Heather, I know you're proud that you'll be getting your certification very soon, and your loving husband has asked me to come up with some thoughts that might aid you in your career. I'll be glad to do that, and let me give you a little more background. I started out with the department working in that old jail and had 116 inmates, and now I think that the new one holds over 2,000. But I saw the department go from about 50 employees to say 250. And I started out working in the detention center, and old inmates from mostly Beaufort and around, maybe a few from Lawrenceville. And then I went to civil, started serving papers, and then I was an investigator. I did internal affairs, worked court security, and just about everything with the sheriff's department. If I had any pearls of wisdom to leave you with, it would be number one, always present a professional appearance. And by that I mean you may feel like an axe is buried in your head, but go to work with a smile on your face, uniform pressed and clean, shoes fit shine, brass, everything, 100%. And another little thing, never, ever, 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 ever discuss any personal situations. You and your husband may have just returned from Disney World and have had the greatest trip in your life, and you want to tell everybody. Don't, no, that's not anyone else's business except your immediate family. No water cooler chit chat. Never argue with a supervisor, because believe me, you will not win in the long run. You may get a temporary feel-good victory, but I can assure you it will come back to haunt you. Now, never, ever, ever get yourself in a compromising situation if you come up on a scene, if you come up on a perpetrator. Never initially get close to them. That would allow them to turn around and knock your head off. And always assume that that's what they're going to try to do. Let me remind you of a female deputy, and if they didn't show this in the training class, they certainly should have. I've seen the tape of this. I don't know where it happened, what department she was with, but she stopped a rather large black man and his daughter and found out that this guy had a warrant on him, and she was going to arrest him and take him to jail. Called for Children and Family Services to pick up the daughter. And she made the very wrong assumption that her mere presence, badge, gun, uniform, would make this guy comply. Boy, that almost cost her her life. She told the guy to turn around, put his hands on the trunk, or whoever it was. Then she had a handcuff on one arm, and he turns around and starts pounding the daylights out of that girl and about killed her. I think he dislodged every bone in her face, and she's very, very fortunate to be alive, and I don't think she went back on duty. But never get close enough to ever let that happen, and always assume that somebody's going to try to do the very same thing to you. And if I had to do that situation myself, what you should have done in hindsight, which is always 2020, I would have called the daughter over there. I would have drawn my weapon on him, first of all, because he's about 5 times bigger than she is, and she would not have a snowball's chance in hell without a weapon. That's what they're on the hip for. And I would have had his daughter take the handcuffs over and let the little girl put them on. And then, of course, in the meantime, you've already called for backup, and you want them to get there in a big hurry, too. Don't get close enough to that fellow where they can kill you. There was another situation with a female state trooper, Georgia state trooper, and I don't remember all of the details of that, but what I do remember is that she had to crawl under her patrol car to keep this guy from killing her. So there's some bad folks out there, and they will hurt you, and that badge and gun does not slow them down at all. In fact, it is an incentive to a lot of people because they, hate the cops or whatever, it could really cost you in the long run. I guess that's pretty much it. Always treat folks with the respect that they will allow you to treat them with, even the criminals, at least as much as you can. Now, I say that because I worked the detention center for a long time, and it's amazing how many times I heard from a distance, usually behind me, "Hey, Sergeant Bowman." Well, lo and behold, turn around and, "Oh, don't you remember me? I'm so and so. I knew you at the jail over there." "Well, yeah, now I remember you." Well, the thing is, that person did not have to speak, number one, and could have been an enemy just as easily as it turned out to be somebody that thought a lot of you. So you never know. You just never know how somebody's going to react to you. Always take the promotional exams. Always present a good attitude. I think you'll do well. I guess I've about run out of steam on this, but good luck to you. God bless, and always be very, very careful. You could go years with never having to take your gun out of its holster, but all it would take is just one time, and you might not walk away from it. And of course, with your training, which you always react according to the way you train, you should be in good shape. But boy, I'm not a big person, and I would not hesitate at all to tell somebody I'm going to. In fact, I think I did several times. I will kill you if you give me any trouble at all. Oh, yeah, got to tell you about that. And there was a retired football player. He was a linebacker for some, I forget which team, and I don't know why we had him in a little jail. But I've just started to work with the sheriff's department. And this guy claimed he fell on the floor, needed an ambulance, had to go to the hospital. And lo and behold, this sergeant, Beth Kissel, I can never forget her. I think she was trying to get me killed. Called me to ride to the hospital with this guy. I didn't even have a uniform. I think I had my own personal weapon on and a cross-draw holster. And the paramedics were rolling him out in the corridor to the ambulance. And I told him, I said, "Hey, wait just a minute." And I walked over there and stood at the head of this guy, kind of bent over to him. And I said, "I'm going to tell you what, you better listen to me real carefully. Because you're a hell of a lot bigger than I am. If you give me any trouble, I will kill you. Do you understand me?" "Yes, sir. Yes, sir." And he did not give me one fraction of a second of trouble. But you got to let him know who's in charge. And somebody, again, he's probably 3 times bigger than I was, and probably killed me with one good connection. So I was bound and determined that one. I probably could come up with more stories and sit here for hours on end, but those are a few things that I think are very important. As I said earlier, good luck to you guys. Stop. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry about that.